this is your business. This is your passion. This is how you serve people. And you can, if you can serve people in a way that serves you and your family as well, then that's the right thing to do. You know, you've got, I haven't known you that long, but clearly you're delivering an amazing service with an amazing team to people that are in desperate need of help, and in an industry where people who, you know, people have found themselves in difficulty, potentially through their own, you know, cock-ups or whatever, or, you know, potentially there's been external factors in play and they need help. And you're helping them, you're advising them.
Chris Worden, the Director First podcast, thank you for joining, and today I am going to be joined by a very special guest for the second time on the show, and it's Andy Muckett of AKM Accounting Solutions. Andy, welcome to the podcast, mate. Thank you for physically driving up here to come and have a sit down with us.
Fantastic. I'm really, really pleased to be here. It's been a long time since I've been up this neck of the woods, and driving up this morning just reminded me what a beautiful part of the world it is. Yeah.
And the people are friendlier.
People are very friendly. I wish I'd been born a northerner rather than a southerner, because the people are so friendly. Such a joy to be around.
What I want to dive into straight away, right? I followed you for a while, love your posts, they talk to me a lot. And you mentioned a post about someone who looks like they are successful and thriving, but they wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning frightened to death. And what I want to ask you is, what are the warning signs for an entrepreneur who's getting close to that point?
That's a great question. Thanks for asking. What are the warning signs? Really, for someone that, to all intents and purposes, is appearing successful, the kind of content they're putting out looks really successful, really positive. The warning signs for them are they are waking up in the middle of the night. They are worrying about stuff they know nothing about. They can talk the talk online, and they can talk about sales, and they can talk about scaling and all those kind of things. But actually they've got no grip on their finances typically. I quite often do a little bit of stalking. So I'll see people who are successful and I'll think, oh, that's interesting, they're doing really well. And I'll have a little look on Companies House. And then when you see the numbers on their accounts, you think they are nowhere near as successful. In fact, I'm not going to say 9 times out of 10, but more often than not, you're looking at a really weak balance sheet, if not an insolvent balance sheet. Yeah.
And a trail of dissolved companies with late filings.
Or 20, 30, 40 directorships going on there. And you think, this is not, you know, they're portraying this one success that they've had. But yeah, you're right, there's a trail of destruction.
I mean, an interesting point you make there. And I think I think a lot of us are really vulnerable to social media. Because, I mean, I can say from my own experience, there are times where you feel a little bit down, you feel a little bit in a bit of a rut, and it's something that will catch your eye, and it's generally, oh God, look, they seem to be flying, and then you'll follow them, and you might like something that they do, and then the algorithm will keep giving you this information and other similar posts, similar profiles. But a lot of them, I found people that are truly successful quite quiet about it. They don't post the picture of the Lambo. They don't. I mean, I really find it distasteful if you're posting a picture of yourself on business class. I just think you look a bit of a twat.
Yeah. I mean, it's that kind of like, it is. There's nothing wrong with being successful, right? But if you feel that you've got to show the world how incredibly successful you are, I think it shows a level of insecurity. I think the most powerful thing that I see on social media, especially on LinkedIn, because it's not a particularly social platform. It's not Facebook, as a lot of people on LinkedIn are likely to tell you, but actually showing your vulnerability in those spaces, showing people where you've gone wrong and what you've learned from it.
Yeah.
Is far more powerful than look at my Lamborghini, look at my Ferrari, look at me, I flew to business class to Bali and did all that kind of thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to the day when I take a wonderful trip and I fly business class, but I'm not going to plaster it all over social media, because that's not what that's about. Social media for me is about how you can, and you're brilliant at it, how you can educate people, how you can help them, even if they never sort of come towards you or do business with you. Actually, if you know that you're serving people and you're making a difference to their lives, that's just like, it just feels really good. It feels really good.
I mean, and again, I just go back to my own experience. Like social media, obviously, I use it a lot for work. But like in the past, I posted stuff and it is really false. It's like really, for me, it was a lot of self-seeking. You know what I mean? I'm feeling that. What I don't post is I've just had a massive row with my missus, and I'm off down the pub, or this. I used to, like, property was a big thing, because I did quite a bit of property, and I see people posting deals when they've bought the deal, and I did that. What I want to know is what's happened 2 years later when the bank hasn't refinanced you out of the money, or the tenants are being a pain in the arse. It just seems such a false economy. And I think, like, the people, I agree with you, the people that I watch are the people that are real. It's hard out there. In business is difficult. And I've learned so much more from the times where it's tough than when the times are good.
Yeah. 100%. And as I was driving here this morning, I was thinking exactly that. It's, if you've got the confidence in business to try new things, and the courage to make the mistakes, that's where you'll learn, right? And if you can have the confidence that your mistakes will teach you how to get to the next level, what you did wrong, what you can do better next time, that's only a good thing. I've learnt more, I think, in the last probably 2 years in business than I'd learnt in the previous 5 years. And I'd learnt more in the previous 5 years than I'd learnt in the previous 25 years. And I was never one for doing a lot of learning. I was one for making a lot of mistakes, for sure. I would make mistakes quietly. I wouldn't talk about them because I didn't want people to think that I was crap. Or that I'd made a mistake. I've done something wrong, how terrible. I'm a C on the disc profile, we talked about, I'm a CD. It's important for me to get things right. And actually, one of the things that I've learned over the last couple of years is it's okay to be 90% there. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect all the time. I saw another LinkedIn post on it this morning. It's kind of like, be there for people, support people. Do you know what? If you're helping people, if you're serving them, they will accept that from time to time there are mistakes that happen, and provided we all learn from them and we all take responsibility and move on, move forward together, that's only a good thing.
Because that is another sort of bugbear that I have. I mean, from time to time, we will make a mistake here. Listen, it happens. And it's really high stakes with what we're dealing with, so we've got to try and minimise them mistakes. But when it happens, it's like, it was we dropped the ball on that. That is really uncommon in the professional sector, for someone to go, especially in, dare I say it, your side of the fence, because that's how I found you. You were an accountant, an FD, CFO. You're a finance guy, aren't you? And obviously, I've wrestled with loads over these last few years.
Yeah.
And I dare say, I mean, it's quite hard to mess up a set of year-end accounts. For me, it's okay. But when it does happen, and you start to poke and question, it's like the defences go. I've seen people sack clients over it. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not talking to him again. I'm thinking, I've just, and I see it more with professionals than perhaps other types of workers, you know what I mean? And why is that? Why are professionals so scared of getting something wrong?
Again, great question. Thanks for asking. For me, and what I see in myself, and what I've learned about myself over the years, is that I have got a fear of getting things wrong. I've also got a lot of attention to detail. And so I think what happens with professional people, I might have even said something about this online this morning. Professional people, they like to stay in their own lane and they like to do the best job they possibly can, but it's absolutely existential to them that they get it right, because if they don't get it right, then they're nothing. And that, again, coming back to the DISC profile, in which we've talked about before, so many people in professional services, in my experience, not everyone, not going to generalise, but many of them are C profiles, and they are so scared of getting things wrong that if someone challenges them and says, you've done that wrong, immediately the defences will come straight up. No, I haven't, I've done it right, you're wrong. You know, they just can't be wrong.
Well, I mean, let's get into this DISC profiling for people who are going, what are these two talking about? Can you give us the lowdown on how it works?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm familiar with it, and I'm not an expert in it.
Okay.
That's for sure. What I've learnt is that you've got the 4 quadrants, so it's like a circle, 4 quadrants. You've got the D profiles, who are dominant. They want results. They want decisions made fast. They want it to happen. They want the results. Those are the kind of things they're focused on. Very direct in their questioning, and you're left in no doubt as to what they want, and what they want is results. So if you know that about a D profile, you know how to handle them. You know how to respond to them. Your I profiles going around the quadrant, they are more about the relationship. They care about how they're perceived. They want to make sure that they might want to be centre of attention. And in my experience, they often make quite good teachers because they want everyone's attention, so they're not like shying away from getting up on stage, having a discussion, doing those kind of things, presenting. That's kind of like second nature for those guys. But they don't really care about the results, and they don't care about the detail of whether or not it's right. If we swap round to the C profiles, of which I'm a CD, so I'm a combination of the two, but a pure C profile, all they care about is getting it right. They don't care about the result. They don't care about whether anybody likes them. The work they do, the things they do, they just have to be right. And I kind of can resonate with that quite a lot. I want results as a CD. I want results, but I want to get it right. I don't want to make a mess of it along the way. And then the 4th quadrant is your S's, and they're your kind of supporters. They're the steady people that you know that you can rely on. And they want to make sure that all your team is okay. They want to make sure that all the clients are okay. They're kind of putting everybody first. I would not say they're people pleasers, because they take care of themselves too, but they want to make sure that everybody is okay, everybody's looked after. And you've got to have a combination of these people in every business. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just sort of pigeonholing people in my business who do that, and and I don't like pigeonholing people either, because I know for me, I can be all of those things on a different day. Nadine has just walked in. She's definitely the one that we was talking about who wants it to be right for everybody.
Yeah.
But that's really helpful, because some of us are there, right, okay, well, it's okay, it's good enough, we've got to move on, we've got to get going. And I've always felt like I always need someone behind me and actually dotting those I's and crossing those T's and making, because our business, it's like you've got to, that client has got to feel valued all the way through the process. and there are times where, you know, let's say the deal's done, they're moving into an insolvency, and actually my involvement in that case will be fairly minimal at that stage. It's just collection of, well, not just, it's collection of paperwork, it's quite a lot of admin, which I'm not great at. But Nadina will make sure that that client feels really well taken care of. Where, you know, our reviews say that we'll answer the phone when we're on holiday. You know, we'll answer the phone at weekends because we understand. But I know if it was just me, I don't have the bandwidth to do that. I don't have the space to do that. So it's I think building a team is, you know, with those different people is really helpful. Where do you learn about it?
I learnt about disc profiling for the first time. I think it kind of creeps in different places, and actually disc profiling is kind of one way of looking at personalities. There's all sorts of other things, but I first learnt about it when I went to tender sales training course, 3-day sales training course, and they just started talking about the different, you know, different types of personality on the disc profile, and made us stand in 4 corners. And I think I was the only, my wife was there as well at the same time. She was convinced she was an I, She wasn't, she was a DC. And I was convinced that I was, convinced that I was an I as well. I'm like, yeah, I like people. I want to, you know, I like going on stage. I do a bit of amdram. You know, I'm here on camera today. I quite like that stuff. So I thought, yeah, I'm an I. I'm a people person. No. I'm a C, and a CD rather, and she's a DC. So we have some interesting conversations. So, but that's where I learned about it in sales training, because part of your sales process, you've got to understand what the buying habits are going to be of those people, right? So if I sit in a sales conversation with you and you're a C, you're going to want lots of detail about what we do and how we can help you. If you're a D, you're just going to want to know if I can get your results.
I quite like how you've spun that, right? And you know, you're using it to actually help people, but there's part of me, right? Because I did NLP, I'm master practitioner at NLP, I've read that much sales stuff, I'm fucking dangerous with it, right? And I come to the conclusion, you know, at 42 years old, that I'm just me. And some people will buy off me, and some people will detest me, okay? And I find a lot of the sales training industry, it's designed to manipulate a prospect. And I think, I mean, I was reading sales books at 17, 18, you know, and I think buyers are much more sophisticated nowadays. So they want information. They're gonna really look into you, and so that was what I was going to come in and say. Is it not a bit manipulative? That, but you're doing it to find out how to present to the person. So I quite like that. But But coming back to it, it's like, you're you, aren't you? You know, you just got to be authentic. Some people are going to like that. Some people, the very thing that people like about you will be the reason other people can't stand you. You know, and you can't change too much, can you? Why would you?
No, and I think I show up now more authentically as myself in a sales conversation than I ever did, because I'm scared of sales. The only way I would sell is if someone came towards me and they were desperate to buy. I'm like, okay. Whereas now, I was scared of the FODE, you know, the often die kind of response. If someone told me to go away...
I've never heard that before. What's that? FODE?
FOAD.
Yeah.
Often die.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever said that to you?
Not exactly in those words, but you can get some pretty harsh responses. We did quite a lot of DMing outreach on LinkedIn, and the responses you're going to get, so any sales conversation, the responses you're going to get are yes, no, not right now, and FOAD. Right?
Is that like the sales navigator on LinkedIn? Like the automatic messaging?
Yeah,
right.
don't do the automated stuff.
No,
because any relationship, any sales relationship, any business relationship, it's got to be personal.
Yeah.
I don't like any of the automated outreach stuff, and you can tell when it's automated outreach. And everyone talks about how wonderful AI is and how many more people you can get out in front of. Ultimately, for me, business is doing business with someone. It's a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we first spoke, when we first connected, and you invited me on the podcast, loved it, and we did it remotely. And you said, do you know what, Andy? If you're ever up in Preston, come up and we'll do one live together. And I thought, do you know what? That's what I want to do. I like Chris. I love his energy. And I want to spend some time with him. I want to get to know him a little bit better. And you can only do that when you're in the room with people and communicating with them on a real basic human level. Yeah. So that's what I like to do. And you're right, not everybody will like me. And that's okay.
Yeah. Because they're going to be a pain in the arse customer anyway. Because that's one of the things that I've noticed, you know, like getting rid of clients that aren't right for you, you know?
Oh,
what are the red flags? Go on.
The red flags for me, for clients that I want to get rid of. So we're going through, we touched on it, I think, last time we spoke. We're going through a massive change of direction. So we're going away very much from a transactional kind of reporting, kind of here's your numbers, see you next year kind of model, which is still out there and still has its place in the world for sure, to actually the kind of transformational work that we do with clients by actually, rather than then saying, well, you're my accountant, you deal with the numbers. Oh, what's this? I've got a tax bill. How can I have a tax bill? And, you know, they're outsourcing a responsibility. So clients that outsource the financial responsibility just aren't going to work for us, because they're always going to have questions. They're always going to say, well, I think what you've done is wrong. That can't be right. Now, with the C personality, someone comes to me and tells me I'm wrong. Do you know what? I'm not going to enjoy that experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, clients where they're not really taking responsibility for the actual finances themselves, or the deadlines, those kind of things, or actually how they can make decisions in their business based on the financial information. Because for me, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. Your decision making can't just be based upon your gut, right? You may know your industry, but you can't just go, yeah, my gut's telling me that, let's do that. My gut's telling me to spend 30k on marketing, let's do that. Well, hang on a minute. Can you afford that? Let's go back and look at the numbers. What do you need to do to be able to afford that 30k that you want to spend on marketing?
I was that guy. Like, honest, like, I mean, it's embarrassing now, but like everything was on a hunch and a gut, and it's because I was scared of numbers. I really did not understand them, you know, and I was that guy who would abdicate responsibility to the accountant, and get shocked when that VAT bill come, and got shocked when that corporation tax bill come, and
then you
like,
blame the accountant.
Well, I remember once with
Not necessarily you.
No, I have. I mean, luckily we're really good pals and we've known each other a long time. And it was with my missus' tax bill. I'm going, mate. I says, there's something. He says, Chris, just pay the bloody tax bill. I'm right. And he was right. You know. But it was, you know, the first question that I had at you about waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
The reason why that was me. Like, that can not as much, right? But I was that guy who would be so buried in their business, like cannot see the wood for the trees, doing, sales calls, fucking chasing $5,000 liquidations that I shouldn't be working on.
Yeah.
Right? And then I wake up in the middle of the night because of a gut feeling, knowing that there's something wrong, you know, knowing that there's no financial plan in place, knowing that there's no real big buffer in the business, you know, and not really knowing when my money was, and honest to God, it was terrifying, you know, and on the outside, there's all this good stuff going on, but there was no controls, and it were probably about 2 years ago, and I really had to start to get educated about profit and loss, monthly balance sheet, you know, saving money for tax, you know, when that, having that discipline that when the money comes here, well, some of that goes there, some of that goes there, that's what the business has got to play with. And I think it was because I've seen so many horror stories, and like, I don't want to, I see the mistakes that people make time and time again, and it's because more often than not, their accountant is their only finance function. They're doing a set of accounts in the past that are about as much use as a chocolate tea cosy to make financial decisions on. Yeah. And they're doing it on, well, I make that much, my costs are about that much, we're all good, you know. And they see finance as a cost and not an investment. So how have you got rid of those clients? What's that been like?
It's actually been a much better experience than I thought it would be. So in the last, where are we? Probably 6 to 8 months, definitely the last 6 months. So when we've been talking, when I've been talking online about what we're doing, the direction we're taking, and communicating that out to the world, but also out to the existing clients and the kind of prospect list, the mailing list. There's been an energetic shift as well, right? My energy is different. So 2 years ago, my business was like a millstone around my neck that just got heavier and heavier and heavier. And I thought, how am I going to solve this? I don't know. More clients doesn't equal more profit. So that was a real challenge for me. That was a real wake-up call for me, actually. So what we've done as we are transforming to higher level transformational relationships with new clients, some of the existing clients are coming along with us, which is great. They're upgrading. They're saying, yeah, actually, you're right, Andy, I do need this. I can see that if I don't get this additional support, if I don't take more responsibility, if I don't let you support me through this journey, I'm going to end up with no business. It's going to go under. Okay, right. You understand that now, but it's taken you a while to get there. So that's been really good. But also the clients, you know, we've offered a number of clients that opportunity to upgrade, come on the journey with us. And they've said, do you know what, thanks, but actually we're quite happy where we are. Mm-hmm. And we don't want to change. So, and that's been great. And some have just naturally fallen away. Mm-hmm. And right now we're actively talking to clients and saying, you know what, this is the journey we're on. If you want to come and join us, this is where we're going. And if you don't, actually, here's my mate. I've known him for 30 years. He's really well set up to do exactly what we're doing for you now, to support you with your your tax compliance, your accounting compliance. He's a solid guy. He's got a great team. And so, we're able to give him that option. Come with us, or Chris, his name's Chris as well. Chris will take fantastic care of you, because we want to make sure people are looked after.
I mean, that must have took some balls, that, because like there were a time I would go to the end of the country for a job we'd make £1,000 gross on, like literally. And actually having that confidence to say, you know, you're not a good client for me, even though there could be some decent money in that. I found that really, really hard. Because, I mean, I don't know about you, mate, but if I fall, no one's going to catch me. This is how I feed my family, you know. And what did you have to go through mentally? Because when you get rid of clients and you make those leaps, there's got to be there's got to be a reduction in revenue, I would have thought, at the start as you're transitioning. How was that for you? What was that journey like?
I'm still on that journey. I'm still on that journey right now. And it's been quite good to say, okay, here's the list of the 10 clients that I'm going to have a conversation with this week. They're definitely not a good fit. I'll have the conversation. they'll either find another account or they'll go with Chris, fantastic, or they'll stay with us and upgrade. And then sometimes another client will come along and go, actually, I think it's time for us to end the relationship. And I'm kind of like, ooh, shit, I didn't plan for that one. What's that going to do to my cash flow? How's that going to change things? Panic. And that panic's there for just a few seconds. I stop, I take a breath, and I remind myself that them leaving, because they're not an ideal client, them leaving creates space
I like that,
for the next ideal client to come in.
I mean, I don't want to get too esoteric here, but I do believe that if you do create space in your life, you know, sometimes our lives are just too busy for anything new to come in.
Yeah, it's been the most amazing thing. Now, what's happened in the last 2 months is premium level clients have appeared. They've come to us. They don't even know how they found us, which is a bit of a pain for marketing data, right? If you don't know where your clients are coming from. But there's been a shift in the energy, and people are just coming towards us, and we don't quite know where they're coming from. So in the last 3 months, we've had 3 premium clients come towards us, and come on board from nowhere.
I think when we had our first podcast, I went to you, what does it cost for a premium client? I don't know if it was 15 grand or 25 grand a year or upwards. Was it around that figure?
It was then, yeah.
What is it now, just out of interest?
So originally our 15k package is now a 30k package, and our 30k package is now a 60k package.
You see, I really like the fact that you're out there with it, because that sort of loads the shotgun, doesn't it? And for those that's out of their remit, you don't really want to be speaking to them anyway.
Absolutely.
So if you're open about what your cost is, and again, I just go for our challenges. Like we're the #1 insolvency advisor on Trustpilot, like by a country mile. And I feel we should put our prices up. Right? I really should, because we are just heading. Like I can say without a shadow of a doubt that people will be better taken care of with us than anybody else. But it's that worry, because someone said to me, so Chris, double it then. Double your baseline from a 5 grand to a 10 grand fee. And I'm like, scares the life out of me, mate.
So what is actually stopping you from doing that?
I think it's the fear of, I have a deep-rooted fear that I'll end up in a skip. Like I've always had it, you know what I mean? So I'm and I think I've got PTSD from seeing so many business failures in this industry.
Okay.
So I'm very defensive. Like I'm not extravagant. You know, like I try and keep my costs really, really tight, and I monitor that money coming in every. Like I'm really. For someone who doesn't like numbers, I'm quite granular with the numbers now, the marketing, the sales, what, you know, gross profit, net profit. And I think the idea of, I remember when we took it from 4 grand to 5 grand, okay, we didn't lose any. And again, I suppose I'm going a long way around answering this, but I'm just getting it out of my head.
That's okay.
Clients who are competing on price, they are going to be a pain in the arse. They really are going to be, if they're just seeing this as a one-time hit, and that they're not going to be an ideal client for us. But I think it's the fear. It's just that from £5,000 to £10,000, that would actually put us as one of the most expensive firms for a bog standard liquidation. And we never came into the market like that. We sort of, in the early days, it was, well, we'll be cheaper than everybody else. And as we got, so it's the fear. I think I'd be scared of what people think of me.
Because?
Yeah, because essentially you could get a job done for 4 or 5 grand, but our service is so much better. I don't know. Yeah, it's a confusing situation to be in. And obviously, those $5,000 jobs, we might do 10 or 15 of them a month. So they keep the wheels turning. You know, our burn rate is probably £50,000 a month. So we've got to find £50,000 to make sure that business the wheels are turning, staff is paid, budgets are allocated for marketing. So I think it's that fear that of losing clients.
I get that. A couple of things that you've said in there. So you're fearful that you're going to end up in a skip. Is that with or without your family?
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's just like for me. Obviously, I come from like we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't growing up. We didn't have a lot of. We didn't have holidays. Didn't have cars, stuff like that. And I think there's a deep rooted fear that one day you could end up back there. And I see it with people that have lost everything, you know, and they've lost everything because they've made bad decisions in their business. They've gone too big. They've got carried away with, okay, we're doing great. Let's start to really, you know, and they build a monster that ultimately collapses. And that's been, and I think that's really helped me, because there's been times over the last few years I could blow the doors off this, I could double it and triple it, but that, I don't know if I want a business that big. I don't think this head could take a business that big. You know, I've got little kids at home, and not always, but I can leave work sort of at work, and my weekends are there to be with my children. But yeah, that's always been a deep fear that I'm going to end up in poverty.
I get that, and that fear kind of keeps you safe, right? It means that you're going to make sure that I'm going to keep my prices at this level, which I know that I'm going to get revenue coming through the door every month. I can put food
keep
on
it
the
steady.
table.
Yeah. To me, I can justify it because it keeps me grounded, and I see so many people that get carried away with it. Because listen, we're doing really well here. We built a business from fucking nothing. And we are one of, if not the market leader in what we do, in direct to insolvency. If I'm going to come out there, we are the market leader in what we do. But I just see people go too big. They go for that scale. And it causes them lots of pressure, causes them lots of problems, sleepless nights. And I think that's another thing. It's like, well, what's the value of my peace of mind? You know, I have mentors that I speak to, and you know, one guy said to me, he said, Chris, he says, if doing, because I was talking about sort of growing exponentially, he says, is that going to take your peace of mind? And the answer is it would do. Therefore I didn't do that. And it's like, how much is, you know, when is enough, you know? Yeah.
So my question for you then is, if you're doing liquidations for £5,000 a go, and you've got to bring in at least 50 grand a month, because that's your burn rate, and that means you've got to bring in 10 of those a month, right? Minimum. That's 10 sets of paperwork, 10 sets of, I'm not even going to pretend to know what you do, Chris, the detail of it, because if I knew, then I'd be doing what you were doing. But you've got 10 clients to onboard, you've got 10 clients to process, you've got 10 lots of creditors' letters to write, you've got 10 lots of 10 lots of 10 lots of 10 lots of directors phoning you up at 2 a.m. because they're panicking about something that's gone on, or something that they might have done 3 years ago that actually might put them in trouble today, that they'd forgotten to tell you about. That's a lot more pressure than finding one at 50k.
Well, here's the crazy thing. Like when we started, like the big jobs, like maybe we'll get one a year. We get one a week now. Like I'm talking large, complex admins, restructures, what you can bill, the insolvency practitioner can bill a lot higher fees on. And they, like, I don't get involved in 5k liquidations. Very, very rarely.
Yeah.
You know, like our team can do that, and I try and I suppose that's another reason why I've been worried about putting the prices up, because I don't get involved in those jobs. I will only get involved in the jobs that are larger fee paying, because that's where my time is better spent. It doesn't affect me as much as well. And it's like, I really like Alex Hormozy. Do you ever watch his stuff?
I don't, but my wife watches him all the time.
And he talks
I should probably
about,
be jealous.
yeah,
it's
pretty cool. But he talks about increasing your fees, and I don't know, it's just something I'm not quite comfortable with. And I don't know if it's a fear thing or I'm actually right in what I'm doing. You know, like we're making really good money. We are growing. Like we'll double this year what we did last year. We've hit what took us a year last year already, and it's July. So there's another argument in my head that's like, what we're doing isn't broke, and I see so many business owners going out there. There's loads of stuff we can fix in our business. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like, people will go chasing for problems. I mean, and actually the problem they're trying to fix doesn't create a big upside. It's like me and Jeb were talking before. I have noticed that our organic traffic from certain campaigns, from certain platforms, is down about 30%. Last 3 months to the 3 months before. Well, that has a knock-on impact on our organic traffic. Now, I know that because on a weekly basis, I'm tracking what's coming in, where's it coming in, how many proposals have gone out, how many were qualified, how many have been lost, what has that converted into revenue. Now, that is a problem worth solving. That is a problem worth giving some attention to. Whereas this challenge, you know, it's just the fear, isn't it? It's like, if you double your prices, you are going to lose some. Can we afford to do that right now?
A couple of things, like three things. There's loads of things I want to say, in truth. Can you afford to do that right now? If you can't afford to do it right now, when can you afford to do it? Mm-hmm. Remind me again, who's the number one insolvency practice?
I think when you look at appointments, it would be Begbie's trainers.
Yeah.
So they reportedly have
I'm
about 8%
going to
of the
stop
market.
you. I'm going to stop you. Who's the number one highest rated on Trustpilot?
Me and my team.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't that say it all?
Yeah.
Begbie's trainers.
That's why I like you coming up here. I knew it was going to be a bit of therapy, and I get a lot out of it. Yeah.
It doesn't. I'm resisting the swearing, but
if you want to hand me my arse, go for it.
I will.
Yeah.
Fuck what Begbie's trainer are doing.
Yeah.
This is your business. This is your passion. This is how you serve people, and if you can serve people in a way that serves you and your family as well, then that's the right thing to do. You know, you've got. I haven't known you that long, but clearly you're delivering an amazing service with an amazing team to people that are in desperate need of help, and in an industry where people who, you know, people have found themselves in difficulty, potentially through their own, you know, cock-ups or whatever, or, you know, potentially there's been external factors in play and they need help. And you're helping them, you're advising them. Whereas I want to say every other liquidator I've ever known, which is not true.
I've got to be careful, yeah.
Which is not true.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get the feeling it's just like, yeah, we just need a new client on board, because, you know, you don't really get repeat business in this game, do you?
Ideally not, no.
Ideally
you
not.
You don't want to keep seeing the same guy every 2 years.
No. So, you know, it's important to feed the machine, like we were saying earlier. And feeding, yeah. And I think that just, it's not dissimilar in my industry. You kind of go, oh, I need more clients. Oh, I need to compete on price. I better put my price down. And now I haven't got time to serve the client properly.
Well, you know what? that does lead on to a.
I haven't finished with you yet.
Oh, sorry. Go on. Let's.
So, what if you put your prices up, and you got? What if you doubled your prices and you only landed 2/3 of the?
Well, you're quitting, aren't you, for less work? That's the holy grail, and I know it makes sense. That does make sense. It's having the bollocks to do it, really.
So the one of the best things that I think I was told was, find the price for your premium product, set it. Once you've sold 3 of them, increase it. Because you know that people are going to buy at that level. So if you don't want to go, do you know what, 5 to 10, go from 5 to 6. And the next 3 that come in, go from 6 to 7.
I'm gonna seriously consider that bit. That feels a bit better. Yeah, it feels a bit better.
So I don't want you to seriously consider it. I want you to do that.
Okay.
I'll leave that with you. I'm not going to make you commit on camera. We'll talk about it later.
But it was. I do like the way you approach things, Andy, and I think when we had our first podcast, you made me think about things, and that's what I want. We need to be challenged, even if it's a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when you're in it, you just don't see it. One of the things that I wanted to lead on to was sort of like setting up, where you want to be financially as a person. Because like, I've got a mate who says he wants to be worth 100 million quid, and my goes, why? Like, why? I've been very blessed to know some extremely wealthy people around here, like multi, who probably don't need to work and they're more driven than ever. They don't seem to have a lot of peace of mind. I keep coming back to that peace of mind, because that's real wealth to me, is to be able to, what I want in my life is, I want to take my kids on some holidays every year. I want to be able to give them what they need, okay? I want to be able to buy pairs of trainers when I want, and I want to provide for my family. And when I'm gone, buried, I want whatever I've done to be able to give them a leg up in life, okay? Now, I've got an idea what that number is for me, but it's nowhere near what other people's are. They have that arbitrary figure, isn't it? Okay, well, when I get to 1 million, when people get to 1 million, it's like, dare I say, it's not a lot of money, that, is it? Depending on what you want in life. I remember being a kid and thinking, when I can get 300 quid a week, I'm going to be sweet, right? And then I remember, right, well, if I can earn 50 grand a year, life would be sweet. And there's a lot more thought that needs to go into it. And I was another one that would overestimate what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to knock it out the park this year. And I'd always miss it. And then I look at back what's happened over the last 10 years, and I'm blown away with where my life's gone. So what is your advice to people about their personal plan? Because, okay, our business feeds us personally. Where do you understand? Is that a good, well-rounded question, or is it a bit scattergun?
No, I think that's a really good question. Thanks for asking it. So I think one of the challenges that we see with people in business, I'm going to come back to that, is that actually they've got no financial vision. They don't know what they want to achieve financially. And you're right, they'll come up with an arbitrary, this mate of yours says he wants to be worth 100 million. I don't think I need to be, this is me personally.
Yeah, me too.
I don't need to be worth 100 million. I would like it to be able to, as with you, make sure my family's taken care of. I expect to go before my wife. I expect to go before my children. I would like to leave them without any worries about will they be able to buy a house or those kind of things. My children are grown up, but I would still like to be able to leave them with something. And I would also like to have a comfortable retirement. So, my focus is to build up my pension, to build up my investment portfolio, probably in property, probably 6 properties, is probably what I want. But, you know, when I think about it, again, property management comes with its own headaches, and actually, do I really want to do that? But yeah, so coming back to it, when we talk to business owners, and they say, well, I want to make more money. Okay, why do you want to make more money? And that's when we start to drill down into the vision. I need to make more money because I'm spending too much time. I'm doing 18 hours a day at work. I can't, it's not sustainable. I need to change my business. So we do a financial vision day with clients before they come on board with us, or as part of the premium packages, where we really drill down and find out what it is that they want for themselves, what it is that they want for their family, and how much money they want in the bank, but why? You know, what do you want? What are the actual targets here? So we spoke to a prospect a week or so ago, and we were talking about the money, we were talking about the profitability, we were talking about the dream house. Actually, the key thing for that business owner was that she had promised her children that she would make sure that they had 2 weeks summer holiday every year. And you could see the tears in her eyes because she hadn't achieved that this year. She wasn't in a position to take them on holiday this year. Now, for me, and we've talked about financials, actually, that bit is actually far more important to that client emotionally, and is a much better driver for them to actually improve their business than just cash alone, right? That's what will make the difference. And I know that we can help reshape their business so that she can have that quality time every summer with her children, because at some point her kids are going to be grown up and that's gone. You don't get that time back. I was lucky enough that when my business was, or when my kids were little, my business wasn't little, I had that flexibility that I was divorced from their mother quite early on. I was lucky enough to have my business that was flexible enough to allow me to have quality time with my children when they were growing up. And that was important to me, more important to me than making a load of money, right?
I mean, that is mega important to me, but it is something that I struggle with. So I have got I'll give you for instance, like at weekends, I used to think, right, I'm going to get up a bit earlier on a Saturday, 6:30 till 7:30. I'll just have a look at numbers, and what happens to me is I go in work mode, and I cannot switch to dad mode. Like I when I'm leaving this office, the worst thing that can happen to me is I'm on the phone to a client on the way home, and I pull up in my house, okay, and I go, right, I'm going to go now because my tea's on the table and the kids are at the door, and I step over that threshold, and then I am still in business mode, and the head, it doesn't shut up. It's like there's a lot going on here, and I can fucking I'm good with lists. I'm fairly organised, but I can just find myself at weekends, because the phone's not going, I'll turn the work phone off. I'm not checking my emails, but then I start to think, and I find myself where I know I should be present with the kids, and I'm there, and this isn't every weekend, and I have got better at it, but it is still something that I have really struggled with personally, having that ability to switch off and turn into dad mode as opposed to businessman mode. Can you relate to that? Is there any advice you can give? What's happened to you in the past?
Thanks. Yeah, absolutely resonate with that. It's really, really hard because let's go back several thousand years or hundreds of thousands of years. You know, we're in this role. The man is in the role. It's very difficult to get away from, and it won't be necessarily a popular opinion, but you know, you're the man, you're the provider, you're out there hunting for to bring the meat back onto the table. and it doesn't matter, you know, how present you're trying to be with the kids, you're still thinking about what you're going to do on the hunt tomorrow, because do you know what? There's not much meat left, and I've got to make sure that meat gets replenished every week, every month, whatever it may, every year into the future, because you've got that built-in duty, responsibility. It's hardwired in that you've got to provide. And yeah, so it means that sometimes you're going to be thinking about what I've got to do tomorrow, even when you're trying desperately to be present. And it's really hard. It's really hard to do the two things. I see some people do it incredibly successfully. I've always found it a challenge. So even when I was with the kids, I'm still thinking about, shit, what have I got to do tomorrow? Oh, fuck, I've got that meeting. Oh shit, I need to prep for it. How do I prep for it? You know, when it's your own business as well, if you're just a junior part of the hunting party, right, it's less of an issue. But when you're the leader of the hunting party, you've got to think about it all the time. You are thinking about it all the time. You can't get away from it. All you can do is do your best. And I'm not sure I always managed it. Do your best. I try to do my best to be as present as I could be in the moment with my children. I didn't always succeed. And yeah, we can only do our best, and if we fall short, look at how we can improve next time, really, and be kind to ourselves about it, right?
Is it kind of a bit of a price you have to pay? You know, if you want the trappings that a successful business will bring you, is there a payoff? Whereas you are not 9 to 5, you know?
I don't think there has to be that trade-off of you can have one or the other. I think it is a challenge to get the balance right. Yeah, there doesn't have to be a trade-off. There is this, perhaps there's this belief that we have to be, you know, amazingly successful and still an amazing father and an amazing husband and an amazing mate.
A unicorn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a complete unicorn. And we can't necessarily be all those things all the time. We can do our best, and we can be kind to ourselves, and we can take responsibility for the things that we don't do right. And
progress, not perfection.
Yeah, absolutely. Is perfection unattainable?
Well, it's a moving target, isn't it? You know, if you go back to, like, if I get 300 quid a week, I'll be sweet. You know, if I get this, you know, it's and I think that's. I mean, do you know, I put it into AI once. I went, what's, you know, how do you get content? Because you get to one level and go, I'm quite high. This is good, but I want the business class holiday with my kid. I mean, honest, how does anyone, right? I mean, just going off at a mad tangent here.
Yeah, go for it.
Even if you tax plan well, you take 50 out, your partner takes 50 out, that's £100,000 in income, and we're really blessed up here, things are cheap, property is cheap, blah, blah, blah. But where you're from, let's say you don't get much change for probably £500,000 for a family home, right?
Yeah, easy.
And these, like, business class flights are very expensive. You know, like, I looked at one, I think, fuck, you know, like, I'll get us back on Ryanair, you know. And I just think, how on earth do people afford to do these multiple times a year without, like, having an excruciating tax bill? The mind, and my head goes, they lie about the tax. There's something that's not quite adding up here.
I would say that it is fair to say that some people aren't completely honest about what they put through their business as business expenses, because they got their tax advice from the guy down the pub, who said, you can definitely do that. I've been doing it for years. Yeah, I still think that you can do those things legitimately. You can do them legitimately. You can put those trips through if they're business trips, right? If it's a business trip, 100%.
Wholly business.
Exclusively.
Yeah, wholly and exclusively.
I'm not going to get into the exact legislative definition of that, but yeah, because it depends whether or not you're self-employed or whether or not you're an employee of a company. But the other thing that you can do, which people still don't believe me, is that actually you can use the benefits in kind legislation, right? So no one would bat an eyelid for you to go to any named private medical insurer and you put all your team on with some medical insurance, right? Goes on their P11D, they pay some income tax, you pay some Class 1A national insurance as the company. Benefit in kind, wholly allowable, right? Well, there's no reason why you can't do that with a holiday, right?
What's the percentage then if you put 15 grand holiday through?
So you would pay income tax as if that was an additional salary.
Which is going to absolutely slap you with higher rate tax if you've already took 50
Yeah,
out.
so let's say you're on the 50. I haven't crunched the numbers for a long time, but I know that they are right because I had to check them as people challenged me. But the difference, if your company is in that banding where the profits are above 50, but below 250, so you're paying the 26.5% effective rate of corporation tax, and your personal income is in that, potentially if you took additional dividends to pay for that holiday, it would push you into the higher rate tax threshold. It's cheaper. I'm probably going to have to rerun the numbers, so don't take this like definite, but when I last worked it out, it was cheaper in tax to take it as a benefit in kind, to be awarded a holiday as a benefit in kind that the company organises and pays for, and it's minuted. Chris Worden, incredible performance this quarter. The board is awarding you.
Will you come back next quarter?
Of course we will.
Yeah, brilliant.
You got it fully documented that it's a reward for performance, so it can't be treated as a dividend effectively. And you can do that and reduce your corporation tax bill quite legitimately.
Okay, interesting.
It's using that benefits in kind legislation, and it's understanding that there's more than one way to skin a cat, right?
I wanted to touch on one of the things that we've spoken about off camera is sort of like some of your choices in life where you're eating better, you've stopped drinking, you know, that there's a number of things that you've sort of taken away that have sort of improved things. Will you be able to talk us through a few of those?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Alcohol's been the big one for me. I was first introduced to alcohol probably when I was 7 or 8 years old. I used to get a tiny little glass of wine for Sunday lunch. And I'm not saying it took a hold then, but you know, I enjoyed the way it felt. As I progressed through my teens, I drank more and more. You know, I was quite, until in fact fairly recently, I'm quite anxious, or I had suffered anxiety pretty much every day of my life. Probably until about 2 years ago, possibly less than that actually, might only been a year ago. So there's a huge amount of anxiety and fear in my life growing up. A huge lack of confidence, and you have that glass of beer, glass of wine, whatever it was, and you can feel that lift. You can feel amazing. You can feel like you can conquer the world. So you have another one, and another one, and another one, and so I really developed my taste for drinking in my teens, because actually it made me the life and soul of the party. And this was something that I'd not experienced before. So I thought alcohol it's like this wonder drug. Mm-hmm. that solves all my problems. I think Homer Simpson says something like alcohol, the cause and solution of all the problems in the world, right? So, so drinking really got a hold of me. Really got a hold of me for many, many years. It contributed definitely to the ending of my first marriage. Definitely contributed to the ending of my second marriage. And if it hadn't been for my wife, Sam, completely stopping drinking 2 years ago, I think there's every chance we wouldn't be together now. Doesn't mean to say we don't love each other or we wouldn't have continued to love each other, but we wouldn't have been able to be together, I don't think. So taking alcohol out of the equation has just meant that I can be me, I can discover who I am without having this kind of crutch to create this alter ego, right? I can just be me, and if I'm an arse, I'm an arse, and if I'm not, I'm not. I can't blame the booze. I do my best to be kind. I do my best to help people, and and the alcohol doesn't cloud my mind anymore. But
that's it. How's that impacted sort of work, your cognition?
So it wasn't just how drinking was affecting me when I was drunk or when I was drinking. It was how it was affecting me for days, weeks, months afterwards, because it just completely changed the way I was. It contributed to my anxiety, contributed to my fears. And as Jed mentioned earlier, it was taking forever to get over a hangover. And I went out, the last time I had a drink, I went out on a sailing trip with some friends. And I hadn't really been drinking very much. And we went out, we tied one on, and we, got had a few drinks, let's say. And I woke up the next day and I just said, I can't do that again. I just can't do it again. And we went out the next night to a pub, and they said, hey, drinks? No, I'm just not interested anymore. And I went back to the boat, had a really, really good kit, felt amazing the next morning, and I've had a drink since.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been marvellous. And it's one of those things that I had relied on. I don't need it, and I know I don't need it. I can rely on myself. It's one of those things I never thought I'd ever leave behind. But smoking was similar. I thought I'd never stop smoking. I thought I'd never get that monkey off my back. And it's been, I think 18, is that right? When was 2009? It's quite a long time ago, right? 15, 16. Somebody help me out with the numbers. I really should know the numbers.
6 years? 16 years. 16 years,
16 years since I've had a cigarette.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, don't miss that at all. Don't miss it at all, yeah.
Andy, I'm conscious of time, and obviously you have been an incredible guest today.
Thank you.
We haven't really talked about accounting. I think we've just touched on it, but we've got into some real meat and potatoes, which I've enjoyed. Where can people find more about Andy Muckett?
Absolutely, the best place to find me is on LinkedIn. I'm on there engaging on that platform every day. And there is only one Andy Muckett.
Andy, thank you. Top man. I really enjoyed that conversation.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. Pleasure to be here.